Pizza night dreams. Lily chewed the end of her pencil, staring out the classroom window, but her mind wasn't on long division. It was on pizza. Tonight was pizza night. Not just any pizza, but the pizza. Pepperoni, obviously, because that was non-negotiable, but also mushrooms, finely chopped green peppers, and extra cheese, the kind that stretched in gooey strings when you pulled a slice away. She could almost taste it, the tangy sauce, the crispy crust, the little pools of orange grease shimmering on the pepperoni. A tiny, contented sigh escaped her lips. Mrs. Davison cleared her throat, and Lily snapped back to reality, scribbling furiously in her notebook, hoping she hadn't missed anything important. The moment the final bell rang, Lily bolted home. The aroma of Mom's simmering tomato sauce usually greeted her, but today the air was blessedly neutral, a blank canvas ready to be painted with the scent of pizza. She found her little brother, Alex, building a fort of blankets and pillows in the living room. "Pizza night," she announced, grabbing a stack of paper plates decorated with cartoon pizzas from the cupboard. "Yeah," Alex cheered, abandoning his fort. Lily carefully laid out the plates, adding pizza-themed napkins and plastic forks. Mom always said it was silly, but Lily loved making even the simplest meal feel special. She grabbed her phone, its screen glowing with the familiar Pizza Planet logo. "Out for delivery," it proclaimed. Her heart did a little flip. 7 more minutes. She raced to the window, peering down the street, willing the delivery car to appear. Each passing car was a potential pizza-bearing savior. The anticipation was almost unbearable. The arrival. And the interruption. The shrill ring of the doorbell sent a jolt of pure joy through Lily. Groceries. Finally. She'd been surviving on stale crackers and lukewarm juice for far too long. Launching herself off the couch, she dashed to the door, nearly tripping over Mr. Snuggles, her perpetually grumpy Persian cat. She swung the door open, a hopeful grin plastered on her face. The delivery guy, a young man with tired eyes and a faded blue uniform, nodded curtly and pointed to the porch. "Got everything you ordered," he mumbled, already halfway back to his van. Lily's grin widened as she surveyed the colorful bags stacked neatly on the welcome mat. Peeking into the top one, she spotted a carton of her favorite strawberry yogurt and a bag of bright red apples. Dinner was saved. A wave of relief washed over her. Just as she was about to wrestle the bags inside, her mom appeared in the hallway, her face a mask of stressed concentration. She held up a finger, mouthing, "Important call," before disappearing back into her makeshift home office, which was really just the guest bedroom. Lily deflated. Of course, Mom was always on calls. Sighing, she resigned herself to waiting. The sun beat down on the porch, and she noticed Mrs. Crabtree's perfectly manicured lawn across the street seemed greener than usual. Lily shifted her weight, suddenly feeling exposed and vulnerable with the grocery sitting unguarded. Enter Mrs. Crabtree. The screen door hadn't even slammed shut when a voice like nails on a chalkboard sliced through the afternoon quiet. "Well, I never." Lily turned to see a woman standing at the edge of her porch, arms crossed so tightly her floral blouse strained at the buttons. Agnes Crabtree. Lily had only seen her watering her prize-winning roses, but the woman's reputation preceded her like a swarm of wasps. Mrs. Crabtree marched forward, each step precise and accusatory. She stopped inches from the bags of groceries. "These are a tripping hazard, young lady, and a blight on the neighborhood aesthetic." She punctuated her statement with a tap of her sensible shoe against a bag of potatoes. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Crabtree," Lily managed, her cheeks warming. "I just brought them in. I was about to put everything away." "About to is not good enough," Mrs. Crabtree snapped, her gaze sweeping over the bags as if assessing their moral character. "The HOA regulations are very clear on this point. No obstructions on walkways. What if Mrs. Henderson, with her bad hip, were to come by? She'd be flat on her back, and all because of artichokes." She glared at the offending vegetable poking out of a paper bag. Lily swallowed, trying to keep her voice even. "I understand, but I have a sprained wrist, and I had to make 2 trips from the car. I assure you, they won't be here long." Mrs. Crabtree's eyes narrowed. "Excuses, excuses. Rules are rules. I expect these to be removed immediately." And perhaps, she added, leaning closer, her voice dropping to a stage whisper that carried across the entire yard, "you should consider a wrist brace that clashes less with the landscaping." The great grocery grab. "Those are mine," Lily insisted, the words catching in her throat. She gestured weakly at the overflowing grocery bags, the scent of ripe peaches and freshly baked bread a cruel reminder of what was about to be lost. Mrs. Crabtree's pursed lips tightened. Consider them confiscated, until you learn to respect the aesthetic harmony of this community. She planted her hands on her hips, a formidable stance against the backdrop of manicured lawns. Frankly, the overflowing nature of these bags is an eyesore. An egregious violation of Bylaw 37B, subsection C, paragraph 2. Lily sputtered. That's not even a real bylaw. Ignoring her, Mrs. Crabtree swooped. Her hands, surprisingly strong for their age, lashed onto the handles of the nearest bag, the one containing Lily's precious sourdough starter. I am acting in the best interest of Willow Creek, she declared, her voice dripping with self-righteousness. Lily lunged forward, grabbing the other handle. A tug-of-war ensued, the paper bag straining ominously. The aroma of peaches intensified, mocking Lily's desperate grip. Mrs. Crabtree's face was flushed, her eyes gleaming with a strange, unsettling triumph. With a final, surprisingly powerful yank, Mrs. Crabtree ripped the bag from Lily's grasp. The paper tore, scattering a few bruised peaches onto the porch. Honestly, she huffed, clutching the stolen groceries, some people have no sense of civic duty. Then, without another word, she turned and marched towards her perfectly symmetrical house, the purloined groceries clutched tightly in her arms, leaving Lily standing on her porch, stunned and peach-scented. A camera to the rescue. The vacant expanse where groceries belonged felt like a taunt. Lily's posture mirrored her spirits, utterly crushed. The sun, once a cheerful beacon, now burned like an accusatory glare. She fought back a rising tide of frustration. Every calculation, every penny pinched, the vision of a comforting dinner, all stolen. Not vanished, pilfered from right outside her door. As a lone tear threatened to escape, a flicker ignited within her, a fragile ember against the encroaching darkness of her letdown. The camera, her father's recent installation, designed to watch over the entire porch. Lily clawed for her keys, the earlier inertia replaced by a surge of adrenaline. Her fingers, clumsy with urgency, nearly betrayed her as she wrestled with the lock. Bursting through the doorway, the relative coolness of the house offered a small solace. Please, let it have recorded, she whispered, weaving through the comforting chaos of the living room, her destination the laptop on the desk. The machine whirred to life under her touch, her fingers dancing across the keys as she pulled up the security app. The grainy video swam into focus. Lily's breath hitched in her throat, her gaze laser-focused, seeking any anomaly. And then, recognition. A figure nearing the porch, the ramrod straight bearing achingly familiar, her pulse hammered against her ribs. This could be the answer. The evidence she desperately needed. Caught on camera. The glow of the laptop screen illuminated Lily's face, highlighting the anxious tremor in her jaw. Her mom sat beside her, arms crossed tightly, a silent storm brewing behind her eyes. On the screen, the security camera footage played, grainy and slightly distorted, but undeniably clear. The delivery driver lumbered into view, depositing 3 overflowing grocery bags on their porch. He rang the doorbell, then disappeared. A few minutes ticked by, each one stretching into an eternity. Then, Mrs. Crabtree appeared. Lily held her breath. Mrs. Crabtree glanced around, a furtive movement that sent a shiver down Lily's spine. She stooped, effortlessly lifting the bags. Lily hadn't realized how strong she was, and carried them into her own house. The door clicked shut. Lily's mom gasped, the sound sharp and ragged. I can't believe it, she whispered, her voice thick with disbelief. She rewound the footage, watching Mrs. Crabtree's brazen act again and again, as if trying to rewrite reality. She just took them, Lily said, the words barely audible. The evidence was irrefutable, yet a part of her still wrestled with the image of Mrs. Crabtree, the neighborhood busybody, stealing their groceries. Her mom slammed the laptop shut. The sudden darkness amplified the fury radiating from her. That's it. I'm calling the police. The words were clipped, each syllable a bullet aimed at their thieving neighbor. Lily flinched, a knot tightening in her stomach. This was really happening. Calling the authorities. The slam of the front door startled Lily, who was still perched on the edge of the sofa, replaying the porch incident in her mind. Dad? Mr. Chen's face was etched with exhaustion as he walked in, loosening his tie. Long day, he sighed, dropping his briefcase with a thud. What's for dinner? Dad, something happened, Lily began, her voice barely above a whisper. She recounted the afternoon's events, her cheeks flushing with a mix of anger and embarrassment. She watched his expression shift from weary to concern to a slow burn of fury. That woman, Mrs. Davison, he asked, his voice dangerously low. She stole our groceries? Lily nodded, pointing to the empty porch. It's all on the security camera. Without a word, Mr. Chin pulled out his phone. I'm calling the police. Lily watched as he spoke, his voice firm and controlled as he explained the situation to the dispatcher. He emphasized the theft, the clear video evidence, and Mrs. Davison's history of harassment. A patrol car arrived within the hour, the flashing lights painting streaks across the living room walls. Mr. Chin led the officer to the monitor, rewinding the footage. The officer watched, his expression hardening as Mrs. Davison's unmistakable figure appeared on screen, brazenly carrying away the Chin's grocery bags. That's all I need, the officer said, turning to Mr. Chin. We'll pay Mrs. Davison a visit. This kind of behavior won't be tolerated. Lily felt a surge of relief wash over her, a sense of justice finally within reach. The arrest of Mrs. Crabtree. The insistent pounding at the door vibrated through Agnes Crabtree's perfectly ordered living room, disrupting the delicate symphony of classical music drifting from hidden speakers. She peered through the peephole, her nose wrinkling in distaste at the sight of two uniformed officers. Honestly, she muttered, smoothing down her floral dress, the audacity. She opened the door a crack. Yes, Mrs. Agnes Crabtree, the taller officer asked, his voice devoid of warmth. We're here regarding a reported theft. Agnes's carefully constructed facade of polite bewilderment crumbled slightly. Theft? I assure you, officer, there must be some mistake. She clutched her pearls, the gesture practiced and theatrical. I haven't stolen anything in my life. We have reason to believe otherwise, Mrs. Crabtree. May we come in? Inside, the officers wasted no time. The shorter one, a woman with sharp eyes, began questioning Agnes while the other surveyed the meticulously kept house. Someone reported their grocery delivery stolen from their porch earlier today. A Lily Thompson. Does that name ring a bell? Agnes scoffed. Hardly. I wouldn't associate with that element. She gestured vaguely toward the window. Now, if you'll excuse me, the female officer held up a tablet, displaying grainy security footage. Agnes's own face stared back at her, clear as day, wrestling Lily's grocery bags from the porch. Agnes's mouth worked silently. Recognize yourself, Mrs. Crabtree? The color drained from Agnes's face, leaving her skin a sickly gray. The fight seemed to leave her all at once. It was wrongly delivered, she mumbled, her voice barely audible. I was merely holding it for safekeeping. Safekeeping inside your pantry, Mrs. Crabtree? Along with Lily Thompson's organic avocados and artisanal sourdough? The pizza night restored. The flashing lights of the police car reflected in Lily's wide eyes as it pulled up to their curb. Officer Davis, a kind-faced woman with a warm smile, emerged holding two familiar grocery bags. We recovered your stolen goods, Chin family, she announced, handing them over. And Ms. Davison is currently in custody. A wave of relief washed over Lily. Her mom squeezed her shoulder. You did good, Lilybuck. The aroma of baking dough soon filled the kitchen, chasing away the lingering tension. Lily helped spread tomato sauce onto the pizza base. Her dad sprinkled cheese with exaggerated flair, and even her younger brother, Leo, contributed by adding pepperoni in a chaotic but endearing pattern. That night, gathered around the kitchen table, the pizza tasted sweeter than usual. It wasn't just the cheesy goodness. It was the taste of victory, of standing up for what was right. Leo chattered about the police car, mimicking the siren's wail. Her dad told exaggerated stories about his own childhood encounters with neighborhood bullies, making Lily laugh. Even her mom, usually reserved, shared a memory of confronting a teacher who unfairly accused her of cheating. Later, tucked in bed, Lily replayed the day in her mind. She'd been scared, hesitant to speak up, but something inside her had pushed her forward. The fear hadn't vanished entirely, but it had shrunk, replaced by a newfound confidence. The memory of Karen Davison's angry face flickered, then faded, replaced by the image of Officer Davis's reassuring smile. It was more than just pizza night restored. It was her own voice, amplified.